I don't care if it's a week, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? LeBron James. That's who y'all gotta start appreciating. And you gotta stop disrespecting this man. You got AJ Brown, who's a legit number one, and you got Julio, who's a legit number one. One of them dudes gotta get double teamed. Who gonna get double teamed? And whoever gets double teamed, the other one gets the ball. I'm saying this with no pun intended, but full of pride. Ladies and gentlemen, good Monday. Good Monday. As always, it's your boy Pride. Welcome to another episode of the Prideful Takes podcast. We got a big one. We're going to chat some NBA postseason, and is everyone really taking this a little too serious? We're going to catch up with the MLB with the postseason, and we're going to recap a little bit of Sunday. But first and foremost, down goes the Bronze Bomber in what everyone is saying is arguably probably one of the best fights in heavyweight history. I'm not barking up that tree, but a lot of people are. 5 knockdowns total. 5. This was a slobber knocker, as the children would say. There was full of drama, full of action. But now, obviously, Tyson got the KO win. Where do each fighter go from here? Now, first and foremost, to quote the great Nate Diaz, "Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. This guy, Wilder, had no chance whatsoever, and it wasn't even close. It wasn't even a debate. Look, everyone knew that Wilder could knock down Tyson. We all knew that. We knew Tyson Fury was going to get knocked down. Everyone knew that. Here was the $1 million question that, frankly, nobody wanted to talk about. Can he keep him down? And no, he couldn't keep him down. The first fight, I've said all this Friday. The first fight, he threw the best punch, arguably, of his career, and Tyson got up like he was the Undertaker. The instant I saw that, and I'm on record saying this, and I believe it. If they fight 10 times, Tyson's winning 11. He took the best shot. Now I will give it to Wilder. He tried to come out and be technical, which, again, the jabs he was throwing really... You can tell he really wasn't working on it too much. You can tell it kind of was last second. Oh, wait, let's add this in the game. Round 4, he was drained. He was exhausted. And Fury was just like, yo, this is a joke. I'm chilling. Like, this means nothing to me. He went, did his thing. No surprises whatsoever. None at all. Like I said, Wilder had no chance whatsoever. None. Because, again, he hit him with his best shot in the first fight, and he got up. If you can't replicate that same shot, I don't want to hear it. And for all the love that Wilder is getting for being a power puncher, we almost forget Tyson Fury got dynamite too. Like, he got dynamite in his hands too. So it was very weird to all of a sudden pretend and act like Wilder was the only one who had power. Knowing damn well Fury put his lights out in the second fight. And everybody wanted to forget about that. Obviously, for Tyson, he wants Anthony Joshua. Is he going to get him now? I don't know, because Alexander ended up beating Joshua. So that's going to throw a little wrinkle. This is what I would propose. And I feel like this will be a kind of neat little thing. Dillian White needs a fight. Match him up with Fury. Let him fight. The winner of that fights the winner of the rematch versus Alexander and Anthony Joshua. That's what I would do. Look, it would make no sense for Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury, even though that's the fight Fury wants. It would make no sense for Anthony Joshua to forget that he lost his belt. It would be stupid and idiotic for him to just kind of, let's ignore it. It didn't happen. To go to Fury. That wouldn't make any sense. So obviously the next fight should be a rematch between them. And let's give Tyson Fury something to do. Have him fight White. And again, the winner of each fight fights each other. I feel like that's pretty much dealt with. Deontay Wilder. A lot of people are saying we need to see him. We need to see him against big fights, big prize fights. If you're one of those people, you're an idiot. Let me explain. The top people he has to fight, a lot of people are saying that they want him to fight White. Some people want him to fight Usyk. Some people want him to fight Anthony Joshua. Why are we going to reward a guy who lost to Tyson twice? At some point, shouldn't we make him, I don't know, rebuild, recline? Isn't that something we need to do? This is if I'm a part of Deontay Wilder's team, this is what I do. Yo, Wilder, we're disappearing for about a year, maybe a year and a half. We're gonna go away. Now, this isn't to say that it's because we're trash or no. We're gonna go away, and while we're away, we are going to do everything in our power to make sure that we get your technical fighting to a point where we're comfortable with. His corner messed up. They messed up. Past the 6th round, his cornerman is telling him, you've got something. You got blessed with power. Use it. That's not what you're supposed to be saying to him. That's the antithesis of what you're supposed to be telling him. Because that's how he tried to fight the second fight, and he got mollywopped to an oblivion. So why are we then going to tell him the same thing? Especially when all of a sudden it was like, yeah, Wilder, he's more technical now. What? If I know about the only technical thing he was going out for a technical knockout, he was trying to get technically knocked out. That's the only technical thing I saw in that fight. So to now all of a sudden pretend, oh yeah, but no, you can't tell me that you want this guy to be technical, and then in the same breath, all of a sudden tell him, hey yo, remember how we said we're not gonna do that? We're not gonna start swinging for the fences? Yeah, swing for the fences. That doesn't make any sense. It's like, what are we missing? We're missing a piece. So personally, to me, I don't understand that. They're all gonna have to come to a consensus. We're either A, gonna try to make this guy technical, or B, it is what it is, and we should expect maybe a couple more losses down the road. That's really the only thing. If I'm part of his team, Wilder, we're out for a year. He's 35, so him taking a year off wouldn't be too wild. It wouldn't be out the wrong possibility. I would have him take a year off. Have him chill out while he's gone. He's not forgetting about boxing. We're gonna make sure we get your technical, all the technical aspects of the fight to a part where, yeah, you won't be an expert, but you'll be more comfortable. And some of the technical aspects, ring awareness, ring positioning, angles, not only punching angles, but also when every time Fury would charge him and put Fury in a corner, and then in literally a second, Fury would do one move and rotate, and all of a sudden, Wilder's on the ropes, and instead of trying to get out of it, he would try to back out and try to play the ropes and try to play corner. It's like, you shouldn't be doing that. That's not you. You shouldn't be doing that. So I would work with him, and when he comes back and he's ready, let's give him a fight that, frankly, you can use some of that the stuff you learned on. Prime example, Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz has been living comfortably after he knocked out Joshua. He's been living his best life, and it's going to sound disrespectful, but he's still leeching off that win. He's still leeching off it. At some point, you got to put him back in the ring and figure out, like, yo, Ruiz, bro, are you legit, or was that a fluke? So at this point, Wilder should take a year off. Relax, just woos out all this stuff. Make sure he gets everything together. Learn a little bit from the technical side. Then after that, boom. Now let's put him in with Andy Ruiz. Let's now learn, because again, Andy Ruiz, he's not the most technical fighter in the world. So it kind of gives them a little training fight, right? Because now it's a legit fight, and you can be like, all right, bro, we got to be technical. We got to be technical. Another thing Wilder needs to learn in his whole year off, composure. There were multiple times where he hit Fury. Fury was not hurt. Fury would feel, he go, oh, okay, let me back up. And in Deontay's mind, he goes, oh, I hurt him. And then he'll charge. He'll throw 7 shots, a solid connection on one. One of them would graze, so that's 2. And then the other 5, he's completely missing, but he's putting everything he has into it. You're making yourself tired. You're draining yourself. And it's kind of funny. Tyson can't win. This is the heaviest he's ever been. And those same people are ignoring the fact that this is the heaviest Deontay Wilder has ever fought as well. Deontay Wilder needs to go home. He needs to take some time. He needs to, I'm not going to say reinvent himself, but he needs to add something. Right now, he's a one-trick pony. Like I said Friday, when you go to the fair and you see that pony do a backflip, it's cool. After 5 backflips, you're going to be like, I don't know, jump through a ring of fire or something. You're going to want more. Wilder can't bring that right now. He needs some time to relax. Tyson, he wants Joshua. I doubt he'll walk away until he can fight Joshua. That's a fight that, frankly, I kind of do want to see. That would have been the next fight had Anthony Joshua beat Alexander, but, for some reason he decided to lose. I don't know why, but so that's going to have to be the next one. Wilder, go home, take a break, because you're not a trash fighter. Like, he's not a boxer, he's a puncher. You're not bad at that. But in a world where Tyson Fury is a heavyweight and my guy is bouncing around the ring like a bantamweight, he's got a tough chin. So once you start facing those top elite guys, just being a puncher isn't always going to cut it. You kind of got to add an extra dimension to your game. And I feel like a year off for Wilder would help not only physically, but mentally. It'll help him get over it. So when he comes back, goes, you know what? I lost. It is what it is. I just don't want to hear no excuses at this point. I just want him to come out and say, you know what? It is what it is. I took an L. Whatever. Let's go back to the drawing board. That's it. You don't got to give me no elaborate. He's a good man. I'll take him out to dinner. No. If you don't want to be friends with him, because that's kind of Deontay Wilder's thing. We're not friends, which it's fine. Just say, you know what? I lost, holding that L. Let's go back to the drawing board. We're gonna figure some stuff out, and then we'll head back. So it's, again, this isn't the end for Deontay Wilder. It's not the end, but I will say this: it is a very crucial. It's a pivotal point in his career, because a lot of people are kind of looking at him different, losing twice to Fury, which, as a guy who watches boxing, there's no shame in losing to Tyson Fury. I'm not really mad about him losing to Fury. I'm just more upset that we were told we were going to see this progression in this fight game, and we didn't really. It wasn't as much as people wanted it to be. Like, I thought we were going to see a little more technical. I thought we were going to see him, if he had him hurt, he would try to go. But I thought I would see some composure, and we didn't really see that. So I'm not really mad that he lost. I'm just mad more along the fact that, bro, don't tell me I'm going to get Floyd Mayweather, and all of a sudden I'm looking at a kid who's boxing at like the basement of a YMCA, never fought a day in his life. You know what I mean? Just got out of a car accident, finished surgery, so now he's starting to relearn how to walk. Don't give me that poo-poo-ness. That's it. But in terms of those two very different directions, by the way, if you're calling for a fourth fight, you're an idiot. I'm just throwing that out there. Deontay Wilder should never forget fighting him. Deontay Wilder should never mention Tyson Fury's name again. He should just shut his mouth and say, you know what? If they ask him anything about Tyson Fury, just be like, shrug your shoulders, be an emoji, because you're going to talk again. Don't do that. Don't do that. Preseason basketball is here. Speaking of morons, Russ kind of been bad, for lack of a better term. The Bulls are, all of a sudden the Bulls can win the title. It's ridiculous. Here's the $1 million question. Why on God's green earth are we taking the preseason and the NBA this seriously? If I'm missing something, inform me. Because look, I'll be honest. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I admit it. When it comes to sports, I feel like I do know a lot, right? But if I'm missing something, I'm not the type of guy that would be mad. I enjoy learning. I enjoy learning. But this is something that's been really befuddling me. Russ was a turnover machine. He's led the league in turnovers 4 years. And then in another 4, he was in the top 5. Why are we confused that he's turning the ball over? This is Russ. And again, I am a guy. Do I believe that the Lakers are going to win the title? No. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think so. I just think I don't think it's going to work. I genuinely don't, right? And there are other people who think the same. Where I honestly starting to root for the Lakers is when people look at a preseason game and go, this is why they won't win. A preseason game. Then all of a sudden, like, yep, this is why they're not going to win. At what point do people have some self-awareness? At what point? It is a preseason game. Russ is new to this team. He's never played with LeBron outside of All-Star games. He's never played with LeBron, and even throwing the All-Star game, that's still not enough time to get used to a guy. He's never played alongside LeBron. He's never played alongside Anthony Davis. The only other person that he's played alongside is who? Melo? And it's like there's big 3 that they're trying to push is LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, right? So I don't understand why Russ, had some turnovers. He had some bad games. Why is all of a sudden a preseason game the determining factor when I was told that Christmas Day is supposedly when, that's when the NBA regular season starts forming, and that's when, guys usually hit start hitting the floor and start running. At what point do we sit down and realize? And then the Bulls all of a sudden is like, oh my God, Zach LaVine, he's a top 10 player. DeMar DeRozan is phenomenal. It's like Lonzo Ball is great. It's like, bro, it's a regular season game. Like, no, I'm sorry, this is a preseason game. Talking about practice. As we talk about practice to quote Allen Iverson. Not the game. We're talking about practice. Because that's what the preseason is. It's glorified practice. I don't care what anybody says. It's glorified practice. It's just insane to me. Right now, Tyler Hero leads the preseason with about 25 points per game. I'm saying one more time. Tyler Hero leads the same guy who last year everyone was like, oh yeah, it was just a bubble that made him, be all tough, right? It was just a bubble, right? He's leading, and now all of a sudden, that matters. If you want to say a regular season game, fine, I won't argue. If you want to pick, if you want to pick a specific game, let's say you want to pick a November 23rd game, so be it. The day you come up to me saying a preseason game is what is determining whether or not a team will fail or succeed, do me a favor. Whatever device you use to watch the game, I want you to pick it up. I want you to go near a window, open it. If you can't open it, don't worry about it. Whatever device you have, I want you as hard as you can to throw it at said window. The window will break, so be it. The device should hopefully break. Because you do not deserve to watch sports at all. It's a preseason game, and everyone's hyping it up like bro, playoffs are around the corner. Bro, the regular season is barely around the corner. What are you talking about? Now, all of a sudden, all these people are, again, determining off a preseason game. A game, these are games that, frankly, the only reason the guys really come in the game is just to relax. They're kind of just trying to get they're just trying to get a feel for it again. They just BSing. They're just BSing. They cooling. The only kids who are stressing it, who are sweating like animals, like, oh my God, we got to get turned. The only ones who really care about it like that are the guys who are trying to vie for important minutes, right? Like, if I'm like the seventh, like, the eighth guy coming off the bench, right? I want to try to do something where I can get moved up to maybe I'm the seventh, heck, maybe even the sixth man. That's who sweats in these type of games. When you got established guys already who are who they are, why are they going to? LeBron even said it. He was like, I tried more in practice than I do in the preseason. And I don't blame him. A lot of players feel like that. A lot of players tend to just be like, you know what? Hey, we'll show up, do our thing, and that's it. Because it's the preseason. It doesn't matter. It genuinely doesn't matter at all. So it's just very perplexing. It's very confusing. I don't understand where all this notion that, oh my goodness, they're so great. I genuinely don't understand it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not sure why people are all of a sudden feeling like a preseason matters when, if in the preseason, let's say in the NFL preseason, the Chiefs lost. The Chiefs lost to the Jets. Does anyone care? No, because it's preseason. So why in basketball is it different? I never fully understood that. To me, like I said, it's perplexing. If you're telling me that the reason they're not going to succeed is because of a preseason game, I tend not to listen to you anymore, because that's craziness. And there's just no other way about it. Speaking of craziness, Boston, in a long game, beat Tampa after what many are calling a controversial call. It took extra innings. They're up 2-1. $1 million question. Can this team beat the Rays? Let's clean it up. Move on to the next one. And if they do, who are we going to see? Are we going to see the White Sox, or are we going to see the Astros? So, first and foremost, before I forget, the Atlanta Braves, they played earlier today against the Brewers. They won, so now they lead the Brewers 2-1. Just want to throw that out there. Do I think we're going to clean it up? First and foremost, Nick Pivetta. Not all heroes wear capes, but for you, I'll buy you one. This guy came out in a relief appearance, 4 scoreless, and he was really hyping them up. The thing about the Red Sox, they need to keep the energy high. They need to keep the energy high, especially when your pitcher, which again, the pitching is what's struggling. Like I said this before. Offensively, I believe we can hang with any team in the MLB. I genuinely do. When it comes to the pitching is where I get nervous. When you have one of your pitchers not only giving you good production, because we got 4 scoreless, he ended up getting accredited with the win. Not only was he doing that, but he's out here screaming and ramping up and riling up the dugout. You can't lose a game like that. Elephant in the room, that controversial call. Everyone who says, oh my God, it's cheating. There's actually, believe it or not, a rule. There's actually a rule. And I'm going to read that rule verbatim. Rule 5.05 A8. Any bounding fair ball is deflected by the fielder into the stands or over or under a fence on fair or foul territory, in which case the batter and all runners shall be entitled to advance 2 bases. In layman's terms, if the ball bounces on the floor and then hits a fielder, just like it was all with Hunter Renfroe, and then goes out of play, that is the equivalent of a ground rule double. That's the equivalent. It's the equivalent. Whether or not you want to agree or disagree doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether or not you agree with it, whether or not you think it's fair, doesn't matter. It's the rule. They got it right. And even so, let's say, because a lot of people say, oh, they should have given him third. If he scores, they get the lead. We go up. Christian Vasquez hit a 2-run homer. So to say by proxy that them doing that would have automatically tossed the game is like, no, because there's still a chance he hits that 2-run home run. But let's just get that one out the way. There's no people want to make it controversial. It's no big deal. It's really not. I don't understand why people are upset about it. Well, I know why. They're upset because Tampa, mostly Tampa, because they're just mad to take the L. That's it. That's really all it comes down to. So, updating on everything that's going on. Obviously, Red Sox, we lead the Rays 2-1. Houston Astros and Chicago White Sox. Astros lead 2-1. Chicago won to stave off elimination. Giants and Dodgers tied at 1, and like I said, the Brewers lost to the Braves. So now the Braves lead 2-1. I genuinely believe we'll be able to win. I believe that we'll be able to finish this up in Tampa, because the next games are in Tampa. I believe we'll finish it. And then after that, I expect us to play Houston. This Houston series, if we end up getting there, it's going to be very offense heavy. That's how I feel. I genuinely believe that. Like I said, I genuinely believe if we win, we have a chance. I'm giving us a chance. San Francisco and Dodgers scare me, but again, offensively, I feel like we can hang with any team. Doesn't matter. I feel like we can hang with any team whatsoever. NFL Madness is come and gone. Week 5. It was a crazy week 5. Really was. There was a lot of games that kind of took me in for a loop. There's some injuries. With all of that happening, 3 crucial takeaways from, dare I say, what a lot of people are calling a very, very pivotal week 5. So first and foremost, one thing that I don't think a lot of people truly understand. Mike Evans doesn't have to be Mike Evans for Tampa to win. When you look at this, not to say that Mike Evans had a horrible game. I'm not trying to say that, but Antonio Brown went off. And if you actually looked at it, this has been a very common theme with the Buccaneers. If someone gets hot, they follow the hot hand. And it doesn't matter who it is. We've seen games where Mike Evans goes crazy. We've seen games where Chris Godwin has gone nuts. We have seen games where AB looks like AB from his Pittsburgh days. There's times it looks like prime Gronkowski is on the field. So a lot of people are kind of trying to poo-poo on Mike Evans, and it's like, well, sometimes let's be honest. There's times that he doesn't. They don't really need to utilize him like that, because again, they look for defensive mismatches, and on top of that, who can get me the win? That's what we're here for at the end of the day. Who can get us the win? And if the hot hand can get us the win, great. If the mismatch gets us the win, so be it. But they don't really mind who gets the touches, as long as the touches are being caught, as long as the touches are, at the end of the day, are being cashed into points. That's all they care about, which I don't blame them. So one takeaway, definitely without a shadow of a doubt, when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mike Evans not having a stellar game does not necessarily mean he's trash. Number 2, and this one hurts for me. This one really does, as a guy who, that's a fan. Maybe Sam Darnold is not that guy. Maybe, just maybe, he had some responsibility for what happened in New York. I mean, And this hurts to say because I genuinely 100%, and I've been on record saying this before, I am a massive, massive, massive fan of Sam Darnold. He threw 3 picks, which, oof, he missed a lot of passes, passes that, frankly, he shouldn't be missing. There are passes that, honestly, and again, I'm not trying to poo-poo on him, but there were passes that, frankly, he should have connected. He threw for about 56% on 31 attempts, and when he can plant his foot, he looks great. But what I saw is when he felt the pressure, and he had to ad-lib something, or he had to create something happen, he looked uncomfortable. He looked, he looked very out of place. And now it's starting to look like maybe he's another quarterback that, I can't believe I'm saying this, needs everything to be perfect. Like, he's not a guy who can step up and be like, okay, I can, in face of, controversy, things aren't looking good. Come on, I get on my back. I can take us to the promised land. And it's a shame. It really is, considering I genuinely believe, and I'm not giving up on him, but I think maybe we should, probably start getting ready to admit maybe Sam Darnold isn't that guy. Number 3, and honestly, this is the one that believe it or not, a lot of people aren't really caring for this one. The Bills, they're a legit contender. They're a legit contender. And I understand it's a Week 5 matchup, but again, this was a matchup that, frankly, they had to make a statement, offensively and defensively. Offensively, they had to prove that they could hang with them. Defensively, they did their thing. There was, Mike Hyde had a beautiful pick 6, and and it's crazy because if you really watch the game, I don't remember seeing that many blitzes, which a lot of people thought, hey, if you blitz Patrick Mahomes, maybe it'll be. I don't think they blitzed, and if they did, it was very, very low. They kind of did what the Buccaneers did in the Super Bowl, where they were like, look, man, it is what it is. You're not, we're chilling. And it's interesting. It really is interesting to see that a lot of people thought the way to stop him is blitz, 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 be fast, make him get rid of the ball quick. Now it's starting to turn and say, if we just let's give him all the time in the world, let's see if that works. And it's been working. It's been working. So a lot of people are now saying Patrick Mahomes is not that guy anymore, which, again, that's not a conversation I'm going to dive into right now. But a couple honorable mentions. Number 1, the Eagles. You guys should be happy. If anybody is still questioning why they drafted Jalen Hurts, you're an idiot. Again, I've been on this. I've been saying this for a while now. Would Jalen Hurts right here, right now, be an elite quarterback? No, he won't. He's a project. But a lot of quarterbacks are projects. The problem that everyone is having is as soon as they get into the league, see, people have been spoiled with Deshaun Watsons. They've been spoiled with Patrick Mahomes. They've been spoiled with guys who, as soon as they step on the field, boom, they got it like that. They've been spoiled with that. That's not how it usually goes, though. That's not. A lot of times it's like a Tom Brady type career. Sometimes it's an Aaron Rodgers type of career. I mean, it's just guys that show up and you see the progression year through by year. They don't just automatically step on the floor on the field and all of a sudden they're breaking records and all of a sudden they're flinging the ball and everything is. That's not how it goes. A lot of times guys they go from 1 year. Okay, what did we learn this year? Okay, let's everything we learned from your first year, let's now bring that to your second year. Okay, what did you learn your second year? Okay, so now what you learned in your first and second year, now let's bring this to the third year. Now let's add some improvisation in there, so that way we can try to see some things that can happen. And to all the people saying, oh yeah, well, Jalen Hurts, he's horrible, and he'll never be good. He's not. First of all, he's not horrible. That's one. And two, a lot of quarterbacks are projects. That's just how it is. And for a lot of people to just pretend that they're not is ridiculous. Another honorable mention, the Chargers are legit. They are for real, and they're winning the division. As everything is going currently right now, I think they have a legit chance of winning the division. With that being said, they shouldn't be favored over the Chiefs in the playoffs because there have been a lot of, again, wild card teams. They can win it. So it's not like, if I'm not mistaken, the last in the last I believe 15 years, 7 teams that won the Super Bowl, so a little under half, have been wild card teams. Most recent, last year, the Buccaneers were a wild card team. So I'm not going to say that they're Super Bowl bound, but the way they're playing, they're making good moves. They're being smart. Their defense is solid. They're trusting Justin Herbert, which in the beginning, people were like, that might be a mistake. But now, honestly, it's not becoming a mistake at all. This kid is legit, and I'm a huge fan of him. So to recap, Rams beat Seattle. By the way, Seattle's not making the playoffs because Russ is going to be out. So you can just get them out of there. Falcons beat the Jets in a horrible game. Thank God I didn't watch that one. Patriots, Mac Jones, the greatest quarterback to ever grace God's green earth. We ended up beating the Texans, 25-22. Vikings over Lions, Eagles over Panthers, Saints over Washington football team. Titans beat the Jaguars. Buccaneers dominated the Dolphins. Packers barely squeaked out a win against the Bengals. Steelers over Broncos. Bears over Raiders, which surprised me. Not even going to lie. I don't want to say that it was like a horrible game or anything like that, but I think now it's time for us to chill off on the Raiders a little bit because this is a team that should have won. This is a game they should have won. The fact that they weren't even able to put up double digits was a very questionable thing. Darren Waller really didn't have that impactful of a game. And people are blaming Derek Carr. Look, I feel like there's enough blame to go around. It's a shame. Really is. But like the children say in the streets, it is what it is. Chargers just won a phenomenal shootout against the Browns. Cowboys beat the Giants. And Cardinals won a very low-scoring game against the Niners, which kind of surprised me. But it showed that, if things don't go their way, they can still pull out a win. Bills, obviously, over Chiefs. Colts, Ravens. Sorry about that. But Colts, Ravens. That's a game that it's interesting because I saw this post and they were asking, it's kind of funny. They were asking, what do you need to win? And one guy said, I need Carson Wentz to basically play like it was his MVP year. But at the same time, I need the Ravens defense to make him look like Blake Bortles. And it's kind of funny because, either one could really happen. It really can. Either one could really happen. With this they're injured. The Ravens defense is injured, so they have an opportunity. As I said, they have the opportunity. So I'm going for the upset. I got Colts. A lot of people think the Ravens are going to run it to oblivion. Let's see what happens. I have the Colts. I think Jonathan Taylor will have a nice game. I think now we're going to start seeing Carson Wentz be more comfortable and start playing, and we'll see him take calculated risks. Because the thing about Carson Wentz, you can't minimize him. You can't. Like, He's a phenomenal talent, and if he wants to risk something, it's okay to do that occasionally. But if he can learn how to take calculated risks, I think he can go back to that quarterback he was his almost MVP year. But again, can he do that? I say yes. I'm putting faith in him. And I think this is the beginning of it. I think we're gonna see a Carson Wentz who's gonna come out and say, you know what, I'm balling out, I'm chilling, I'm living my best life. I ain't worried about these suckers. That's what we're gonna see from him. And I genuinely think they'll get the win. I don't think it's gonna be anything dominating. I think it's really gonna come down to about 4 or 5 plays that Carson Wentz makes. That's basically like the calculated risks where it's like, you know what, we gotta make it happen, regardless of how it looks. No matter if the situation is dire, there's gonna be times we need to risk it. And as long as he's not risking it every other play, the Colts will have a legit opportunity. Unfortunately, whether or not that could happen, I don't know. I'm hoping, because again, I'm a fan of Carson Wentz. I genuinely believe Carson can get back to that. Like I said, if he can take calculated risks, those risks that, let's go ahead, we can take the risk. If we fail, it is what it is, but we need to make sure that there's a decent chance we can capitalize on it. And they also need to work on their red zone offense. Like, their red zone offense is very questionable, which is a shame, because when you have a guy like Carson Wentz who, doesn't really mind not only going, but on top of that, you have Jonathan Taylor, which I don't know if Jonathan, it's weird because he's so effective until he gets to the red zone, which is very bizarre. It's a very weird thing he has. But like I said, I'm taking the Colts. And I know it's not going to be a very popular opinion, but I genuinely feel like they have it. I feel like they'll be okay. It's going to come down to a few plays. As long as the Colts capitalize on it, I think they'll be fine. Follow us on Twitter at Prideful Takes. I love being on Twitter. It's the funniest thing in the world. If you guys want to see anything funny. Oh, by the way, Trey Lance has a sprained knee, and he's, they're going to be keeping an eye on him for 1 or 2 weeks. It's nothing serious. So what a time to be alive if you're a Niners fan. Follow us on Twitter. We put up updates regarding the podcast. Eventually we're going to start doing polls, all that good stuff. Catch us on Facebook at Prideful Takes. We go live on Facebook, and we also be putting up memes, and I do all my pick'ems and all that stuff on Facebook. We're also on YouTube at Prideful Takes. So if you guys don't have Facebook, you can catch a full show live on YouTube. Visit our website, www.pridefultakes.com. Not only do we have every single one of the episodes on the website, but we also have original articles. So you can feel free to go over there and binge read if, anyone still reads nowadays. And I know my face is hit. Like I say all the time, the only reason my girl's with me is because I knocked her up. If not, she probably would have left me. The face is a problem, but that's why we got Spotify. Prideful Takes podcast. You'll be able to, every episode is there the day after we go live. Thank you for spending some time with your boy. It's been fun. Happy Monday. I'm pretty sure everyone's loving this Monday, unless you're Deontay Wilder. Like always, appreciate you guys spending some time with your boy, and we'll see you Wednesday right here at 6.
Knew where that was going. That was a great read. Lillard from the logo. That'll quiet the
2 on the season. 2nd and 1 for the Bills. They handle the rush. Allen looking. End zone.
To Shohei Ohtani. Center field. Let's watch it go. Did several of those inside low kicks.